we can come up with different questions or different answers, and we start doing different things, and this is the big sort of worry that different Jewish communities start doing different things. So every few hundred years, there is one of these events is Maimonides. It's very important. Is of the 12th century. Again, under Islam, he's the doctor, he's a physician, he's a philosopher, very famous, not just in the Jewish world, but in the history of the world. Actually, he was debating a lot with the Muslims and with the Christians, and bright. And he writes a set of book, which is his sort of codex of do or not do of his time. And then again, there are several other bright people. The last time, this kind of, when the monumental project was done here, at the 16th century by our guy, Youssef, Caro, working out of here. He puts together the Jewish law, the halacha of his time. And it's such a monumental project. It's in so many volumes, people finally telling him it's a great project, but we need something that is much more sort of to the point. So he breaks it down, and we're getting something that is more, he calls it May Table, Shulchan Aruch. Everything is there, just open, and this is what we're living by until today. If you come into a rabbi today and you have this question about that, what should I do with this, what should I do with that, the baseline would be this book that was written here in the 16th century by this guy, and there is this division in the Jewish people between, it's not a division, but it's a cultural division, between the Jews that were under Islam and Jews that were under Christianity. This is, in broad terms, this is what you hear today, the Sephardic and the Ashkenazi. Jews that were under Islam are Sephardic, so the melody of the prayers would be different, would be more Arabic style, and the Ashkenazi is more like Eastern Europe, Central European sort of background, but it's the same thing. The prayers are the same, and he's Sephardic, so they're sending it to a very important rabbi in Eastern Europe, who's Ashkenazi, of course, and he looks at it, and he was working on the same project, and he says, "All right, this is it. I fully agree with that. I just have some amendments to the way we are, some ideas about how we, the Ashkenazi, are doing this." And he's calling it, his book, which are like points on the main table, is calling it the map, the tablecloth. So it's like something you kind of, but this is the baseline, and everything goes according to it and all the work. So this is obviously a very monumental project that was done here. The synagogue is pretty much the same synagogue, although Tzfat was destroyed so many times in earthquakes that not all the walls here, I can sort of give my hat that they are of the 16th century. What the legend in Tzfat is that all the southern walls survived of the synagogue survived all the earthquakes. And the southern wall survived all the earthquakes because this is where the Torah is stored. The Holy Ark is facing Jerusalem. So I don't know if it survived because the Torah is there, or did it survive because the Holy Ark supporting the Torah is the massive sort of support of the southern wall. But in this case, this is the Holy Ark. Inside, I'm going to open it and you're going to see the Torah scrolls. There is one very ancient Torah scroll that was brought with them from Spain. When they had to leave, the one thing that they would carry with them is the Torah. So this is at least 500 years old, because it was used back then as well. So, and they're taking it out, this particular Torah scroll, they're taking it out for the holidays and read out of it. This is a very typical Sephardic synagogue. In Ashkenazi, it's more like benches facing the bima. The bima is where they're taking the scroll from here, they're putting it on the bima, the stage, and from here they're reading from the Torah. As we said, the 5 books are divided to 54 portions of the week, and each week we read a different portion of the Torah, and this is how the year progresses, and this is the main ritual actually on Saturday in the synagogue. So this is the story of this synagogue. As we said, there are several other groups that operated here at the same time. One of them is of the Saint Ari. And they were much less into synagogues and much more out to the nature. Part of Kabbalah is to embrace nature and to come close to nature and be connected to nature. And this is the perfect place for this. This whole area is dotted with small springs and with lots of beautiful sort of serene, and here is where Kabbalah started to be open, to be much more accessible to people, and it's an ongoing process. And there are some sort of theological explanations to that. Yeah. Books, yeah, we talked about it when we were in Masada, that the Torah and also the books are not to be thrown out after they're worn out. They have to be either buried or stored in the synagogue like that. We have some very old Torah scrolls there and some other books. On the shelves over here, by the way, it's almost like it's the bookshelf of all the fundamentals. So you have the Mishnah here, the Mishnah, you have the Gemara, together with the Talmud, you have the Maimonides book, Strong Hand called it, you have the Shulchan Aruch, all is on these two shelves, but apart from that, there is a huge sort of body of work, books and like thousands of those, of work that was done, interpreted, and studying it. This is like the process of, a Jewish man, this is what he's supposed to do. Together with working and supporting for his family, studying the Torah is an ocean that gives you all the purpose in life. All right?
Yes. Just a sort of mundane question.
Yeah.
About men wearing a hat or skull cap or hammock? Is that?
Yarmulke.
Yarmulke, sorry. Yeah, different colors and all that. Is that mentioned in the book, or this is just
No.
the way?
But why do they have to wear the yarmulke, I guess?
Covering the head is in this hat, so yarmulke is something that is only of a few hundred years.
Oh, okay.
And
But the reason
it's from that it's to show respect.
Oh, okay.
It could be interpreted in different ways, but
Different
it's not
colors.
something that is in the Torah. It's not.
I like that.
So we're not. No. I'm telling you the truth. By the way, in the New Testament, there are stories about the way the Jews saw the early Christians. There is a great story about a very important rabbinical authority. This is in the New Testament. That is when they are bringing St. Peter's, this is Acts, they're bringing St. Peter's to be judged in front of the Sanhedrin. He steps forward, he's the head of the Sanhedrin, and he's serving as an advocate for St. Peter's. And he's being a Jewish lawyer, sort of releases him of his, and he's being revered by the Catholic Church. He was a saint until the 60s, when they discovered that he did not convert, and therefore he could not be. Of course he did not convert. He was a very prominent, very admired Jewish rabbi. And from the Jewish perspective, what he was doing is telling those people to, if they want, they can proceed, with what they're doing. Obviously they believe wholeheartedly in what they saw, but don't present yourself anymore as Jews. So the Jews were very concerned from the fact that the people would follow this group thinking that this is the new or normal development of Judaism, while they saw it as something new that is being it's a split from Judaism, it's not Judaism. So they made it very clear that, if you follow this path, you're not Jewish anymore. So there's no condemnation of the thing itself. Later on, there's a lot of condemnation of the anti-Semitism that is applied against the Jews. But of this group itself, they just let it be. They're going to let it. Later on, there are prayers that are being introduced where you see, where the Jews are bitterly complaining to the authority about the treatment they're getting from these people. But this is much later on. So yes, there are some references to the fact that there was followers of this individual, but there's no way, he's